everyone. Welcome to the Currency of Democracy. I'm your host, Josh Davis. This is a libertarian opinion show of how the government is growing, the dollar is losing value, and you should be fed up. So I'm also sitting with Rich Smith and Derek Bergman.
Good to see you.
How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Pretty good. Good to be here.
I'm so glad you guys could make it today, and well, you're always here. He's
I'm here regardless.
Usually the director / behind the scenes guy, but today he's on the show, and that's great. And Rich Smith, I know him through John Zavelia. Everybody must know John Zavelia on this show, but you know, so that's good. Thanks for showing up. Right now, I just want to go through some the usual Currency of Democracy stuff, and then we'll get into what I have planned and what we have going here. I wanted to address what I talked about the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And I said that Tom Woods was wrong and all these people, but apparently the Bill of Rights was used in a specific way. It was always used as inhibiting the federal government from doing anything to people, as opposed to these rights being universal, individual, that kind of thing. So these are more of just things that the government can't do to you, the federal government. So what I was going to say is that the Second Amendment ruling was probably incorrect, but in the end, it's better in a liberal way anyway. Classical liberalism anyway. Anyway, let's go on. I also have some news pieces. Ron Paul and what's his name? Barney Frank are both teaming up to have the Afghanistan war be shut down altogether, and Iraq and all this. They're trying to get people together to finally just end this stuff, and that's good. So this kind of thing will get people together, and that's what we need. You know, just end war, you know, just have less killing, you know, less destruction, this kind of thing. And anyway, so that was quick, but go look into that. Also, Alabama tax structure. I was talking with Derek very, very, very briefly. What do you think of the dead zone? The idea of progressive income tax and all this other stuff.
I think that the dead zone is where a lot of us end up these days, because without further education, which means more debt right off the bat, you can't make that money. And a lot of people getting out of school, they're not able to make that money anyways, because they don't have experience. It's that whole rock and a hard place issue that we all keep running into for some reason. You can have a great college career, everything goes fine, you got letters of recommendation, you got references, but it makes no difference because you have no job experience.
Right.
So you end up hanging around in that lower than 40,000 area, and you can't ever seem to crack out of it.
Well,
but
what if
some people do find a way.
What if you don't even go to school and you just make, say, $30,000 a year the rest of your life? I'd say you're still stuck in that dead zone. Unless you know,
for certain.
Yeah.
Unless by chance someone in that situation gains lots of job experience and is able to attain a similar position, but still they would get a lesser pay because they don't have the degree.
Right.
Because the seal's not there, you know.
Right. It looks great on paper, but nothing's happening.
Right.
Do you have an opinion on the subject?
Well, I find myself stuck in this position, so yeah, I certainly see how it's very problematic. You know, it's sort of a chicken and egg situation where you need the experience to get the job, but you can't get the experience until you have a job. So. Right.
Yeah, you're in the cycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you know what I say, that's why you got to be multi-skilled. Ultimately, the smartest thing you can do to break out of this situation is have 6 jobs, because when one of them gets cut, you get 5 more. You can still come home with money. You know what I mean? You still got something coming in.
Yeah.
I feel like these days, you got to be resourceful.
Right. Do what you can. Yeah, that's a good point. This also went into a little bit more depth. So I have to intro it. I'm sorry, excuse me. I found this article at Mises Daily, which is actually just Mises.org. This was July 1st, Thursday. And basically, they go into the idea that Alabama's tax structure is trying to offset the idea of progressive income tax. So, you know, people at the lower end will actually get taxed more by the state, that is. They will get taxed more. However, the rich won't. You know, you know, people say making, say, $60,000 a year or $70,000 will get taxed less than $30,000 a year. And this offsets the federal income tax. What this does, I know it sounds terrible, and in a way, even I'm against it. However, the idea is that the people getting taxed more will actually be inclined to go to work quicker and not be paid unemployment, that kind of thing. So, what do you think of that, now that I've told you that?
I don't know, man. I know a lot of people on unemployment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do too, and you know, it's like...
Some people get settled in there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Eventually, when the extensions run out, they're right back in the boat with the rest of us, looking for work.
Right. Yeah, so it's an interesting concept.
The problem, though, I think, with that whole system, I guess kind of going off on a tangent, is what I hear from the elders of the community and from my grandmother is that, you know, during the Depression, they had all these work programs. That's when they put all the pine trees that you see in these reforested areas, how they're all kind of seem to be in a line. It's because those were one of the work crews from that time period. They had all these people working. They had them doing Forest Service stuff. That's when that whole thing got started. I forget what the organizations were, but there was none of this just leeching off the system stuff going on. You had to earn your keep.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
These days, if there was more of that going on, you know, it would be a mutual benefit, because then nobody's complaining, oh, there's nobody to do the job, oh, there's no money, you know what I mean? Everybody's getting what they need.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems like a stupid, obvious thing that hasn't been used again.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was sort of the crisis we're facing now, is that the closest thing we had to that right now is the census work.
True.
And with that ending...
Yeah, but they're only hiring people with degrees. I applied, I took the test, I passed it. I was waiting for the call for 3 weeks.
Really?
I got the call. They're like, oh, we just want to make sure that you're going to be available in case we call. You know, they were pre-screening people that they were pre-screening.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. So I called them the next day. I'm like, why did you call me?
Yeah.
Did you call me because you wanted me to train? No. So their whole thing was, I talked to this lady, too, that was coming around the neighborhood, asking, I was like, oh, I applied for this job. How is it? Is it any good? She's like, well, you know, they weren't making that much, like 17, 18 or something.
Well, that's still not bad.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
You know?
But then again, those, you know, workers, you know, that job will only last so long. And
yeah, it's
also
guaranteed temporary.
But also, what about the idea? Well, you just went over the idea that they were pre-screening, and I was thinking that
I could have had that guy's job. Do you really need a degree for that? You know what I mean?
Well, there was also this. I
Not
talked
that
to
I'm
my
that bummed out. You know what I mean?
I talked to my friend, and he says that he applied for a job at Fox News, and they were required by law to actually have a certain quota, you know, of interviews in a certain amount of time. No matter how many jobs there are, they have to have a certain amount of interviews. And I'm like, well, isn't that kind of mean to the person that's applying to the job? The same idea, you know, you're wasting time, you know, by applying to that job and knowing, you know, or the employer knowing that they're not going to hire you in the first place. It's just filling a quota.